Rise of the Forgotten. The Galactic Hegemony's central archive floated like a jeweled pendant against the void, its crystalline spires reflecting the light of 3 nearby suns. Within its vast chambers, Archon Vothel scrolled through the daily reports with 4 of his 6 eyes, while his remaining pair focused on the strange anomaly that had appeared in the monitoring systems. Another gravitational disturbance from that backwater sector, he muttered, mandibles clicking in annoyance. Probably those primitives on Earth testing some crude nuclear device again. For over 3 centuries, the hegemony had maintained detailed observations of Earth, categorizing it as a Class 3 developing world, interesting enough to study, but far too primitive to warrant serious attention. Their last official assessment, conducted 50 years ago, had concluded that humans would need at least another century to achieve reliable interstellar travel. Vothel was about to dismiss the alert when something unprecedented happened. The gravitational disturbance didn't fade like usual. It amplified. Within seconds, every sensor in the archive's vast array was screaming with activity. The energy signature was unlike anything recorded in the hegemony's 12,000-year history. Deep beneath the streets of New Denver, in a facility that officially didn't exist, Dr. Sarah Chen watched as humanity's greatest secret whirred to life. The quantum fold engine, developed in absolute secrecy over the past 40 years, was finally operational. Its massive rings spun with impossible precision, tearing open the fabric of space-time itself. All parameters nominal, she announced, her voice steady despite the historic magnitude of the moment. QFE stabilization at 99.8%. General Marcus Rivera nodded, his weathered face illuminated by the engine's ethereal glow. Begin Phase 1. The truth was, Earth hadn't been idle during its centuries of observation by the hegemony. Every probe they'd sent, every scan they'd performed, had been carefully analyzed. Human scientists had reverse-engineered advanced technology from the smallest scraps of data, all while maintaining a carefully crafted facade of technological inferiority. The hegemony's greatest mistake wasn't underestimating humanity's capabilities. It was assuming that human advancement would follow predictable patterns. They never considered that a species might deliberately hide its progress, waiting for the perfect moment to reveal its true strength. Across Earth, similar facilities activated in perfect synchronization. The planet's magnetic field began to fluctuate in ways that would have been impossible according to known physics. To the hegemony sensors, it appeared as if Earth was experiencing some kind of natural disaster. In reality, it was the activation of the global defense grid, a planetary shield system that had been hidden in plain sight, disguised as ordinary infrastructure. Power plants, communication towers, and satellite networks suddenly revealed their true purpose, linking together to create an impenetrable energy barrier around the planet. Ambassador Zara Patel stood before the United Earth Council, her voice carrying the weight of centuries of preparation. The hegemony has dominated this galaxy through fear and technological superiority. They've designated countless species as primitive, worthy only of study and eventual exploitation. Today, we show them their greatest miscalculation. In orbit, the first wave of Earth's hidden fleet emerged from quantum storage. The ships were masterpieces of human ingenuity, incorporating technology that the hegemony had deemed impossible. Their hulls were composed of metamaterials that absorbed all forms of radiation, making them virtually invisible to conventional sensors. Their weapons utilized principles of physics that the hegemony had dismissed as theoretical. Vothel watched in horror as his sensors detected the impossible. Where Earth's orbit had been empty moments before, hundreds of warships now existed. Their energy signatures were off the charts, utilizing power sources that shouldn't have been possible for centuries to come. How? He whispered, all 6 eyes wide with disbelief. They were primitive. We watched them. We monitored everything. The human fleet moved with perfect precision, their formations executing maneuvers that demonstrated centuries of simulated combat experience. While the hegemony had watched Earth fumble with chemical rockets, humanity had been practicing warfare in virtual reality, preparing for this very moment. Admiral James Chen, Sarah's brother, stood on the bridge of the flagship Humanity's Dawn. All ships implement Operation Awakening. You have your targets. Remember, we're not here for revenge. We're here to reshape the galaxy. The first strike wasn't against military targets. Instead, Earth's ships appeared simultaneously at every major hegemony communication hub in the sector. Within minutes, the carefully controlled flow of information that had kept the hegemony's subject species in check was hijacked. Across thousands of worlds, beings of all species watched in amazement as the truth was revealed. Earth broadcast proof of the hegemony's manipulation, showing how they had systematically suppressed technological advancement in primitive species while exploiting their resources. But it wasn't just an information war. As the hegemony's command structure scrambled to respond, they discovered that their own technology was being turned against them. Humanity had spent decades studying their systems, finding vulnerabilities that the hegemony had never imagined could exist. Dr. Chen watched the data streams with satisfaction. The quantum virus is working perfectly. Their ships are being locked out of their own control systems. The virus was perhaps humanity's most elegant weapon, a piece of code that existed in a quantum superposition, making it impossible to detect or stop once it had infected a system. It spread through the hegemony's network like a digital plague, giving Earth control of everything from defense systems to food production facilities. As the first day of humanity's emergence drew to a close, the hegemony's leadership faced an uncomfortable truth. The primitive species they had dismissed for centuries had outmaneuvered them completely. Earth hadn't just caught up technologically. They had surpassed their observers in ways that would reshape the balance of power throughout the galaxy. General Rivera's words to his troops before the operation began now echoed prophetically through the cosmos. They watched us climb from our cradle, never imagining that we could see them watching. Today, we show them that humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology. It's our ability to learn from those who underestimate us. The galaxy was about to learn that humanity's patience had been its most powerful weapon of all. The Ghost Fleet. For centuries, the greatest minds in the hegemony had theorized about the perfect warship. They had built massive dreadnoughts, developed energy weapons that could shatter planets, and created defensive shields that could withstand supernovas. But they had never imagined anything like the vessels that now haunted their space. The humans called them ghost ships, a name that struck terror into the hearts of even the most seasoned hegemony commanders. These vessels seemed to defy the fundamental laws of physics, appearing and disappearing at will, passing through solid matter as if it didn't exist, and striking with weapons that left no trace of their passage except for the destruction they caused. High Admiral Kextol of the Hegemony Defense Fleet watched in helpless rage as another of his command centers went dark. How are they doing this? He demanded, his crystalline exoskeleton crackling with stress. Our sensors show nothing until it's too late. The truth was both simpler and more complex than the hegemony could comprehend. While they had focused on building bigger, more powerful ships, humanity had taken a different approach. The Ghost Fleet operated on principles of quantum entanglement and phase shifting, allowing them to exist partially out of normal spacetime. On the bridge of the Ghost Fleet flagship Phantom Dawn, Captain Maya Rodriguez watched her tactical display with satisfaction. Phase shift complete, her XO reported. We're operating in the quantum realm. The ship, along with its entire battle group, had just shifted into a state of matter that the hegemony had deemed theoretically impossible. They existed simultaneously in multiple dimensions, making them effectively invisible and untouchable by conventional weapons or defenses. Begin Operation Shattered Crown, Maya ordered, her voice calm despite the historical weight of the moment. The Ghost Fleet had been practicing these maneuvers for decades in secret, preparing for this precise campaign. Across hegemony space, their most fortified military installations began falling one by one. The ghost ships would phase into existence inside their supposedly impenetrable shields, deploy their weapons, and vanish before any response could be mounted. It wasn't just warfare. It was a complete redefinition of what was possible in combat. Dr. Chen, monitoring the operation from Earth, smiled as the data streamed in. "The quantum resonance cascades are working perfectly," she reported to General Rivera. "Each strike creates a ripple effect through their defense networks, amplifying the damage exponentially." The quantum resonance cascade was another human innovation that the hegemony had never conceived of. Each weapon strike left behind a quantum signature that interfered with their technology on a fundamental level. The more they tried to power up their defenses, the more vulnerable they became. But the Ghost Fleet wasn't just a military force. It was also humanity's most powerful tool for gathering intelligence. As they struck at military targets, they also collected vast amounts of data about hegemony operations, revealing corruption and oppression that had been hidden for millennia. Ambassador Patel addressed the United Earth Council with this new information. "We're finding evidence of systematic exploitation across thousands of worlds. The hegemony hasn't just been suppressing technological advancement. They'd been actively preventing species from discovering their true potential." The Ghost Fleet's campaign had a secondary effect that the hegemony never saw coming. As news of their victories spread, other species began to resist. The hegemony's careful facade of invincibility was crumbling, and with it, their control over the galaxy. On the frontier world of Nexus VI, a colony of silicon-based beings watched in awe as a ghost ship phased through a hegemony battle cruiser, leaving it powerless and drifting. The legends were true, their elder whispered. "The great equalizer has come." The hegemony's response was predictable. They attempted to gather their forces for a massive counterattack. But fighting the Ghost Fleet was like trying to catch smoke with your hands. Their ships could not be tracked, their movements could not be predicted, and their weapons could not be defended against. High Admiral Kextall watched his tactical displays with growing despair. "They're not just defeating us," he realized. "They're systematically dismantling everything we built, every defense, every advantage we thought we had. They turned it all into a weakness." The Ghost Fleet's campaign reached its crescendo with Operation Quantum Storm, a synchronized attack on every major hegemony military installation in 3 sectors. Thousands of ghost ships appeared simultaneously, their quantum weapons creating a cascade of destruction that rippled through space-time itself. Captain Rodriguez watched as the carefully planned operation unfolded. "This isn't about destroying them," she reminded her crew. "This is about showing them, and everyone else in the galaxy, that the old ways of thinking about power and technology are over." As the Ghost Fleet's campaign continued, the hegemony's leadership faced an uncomfortable reality. They hadn't just underestimated humanity's technological capabilities. They had failed to understand that humans would approach warfare in ways they had never imagined possible. Dr. Chen's words to the United Earth Council now seemed prophetic. The hegemony built their empire on the assumption that power comes from having the biggest ships and the strongest weapons. "We're showing them that true power comes from thinking beyond the boundaries of what others believe is possible." The galaxy was learning that humanity's Ghost Fleet wasn't just a military force. It was a revolution in what was possible, and nothing would ever be the same. Breaking the chain. The hegemony had built its empire on more than just military might. It had created an intricate web of economic dependencies, supply chains, and power structures that kept thousands of species in line. They never imagined that their carefully constructed system could be dismantled not by brute force, but by something as simple as the truth. Commander Sarah West of the Earth vessel Liberty's Call stood on her bridge, watching as her ship's quantum sensors mapped the complex network of hegemony supply routes. "It's beautiful, in a twisted way," she mused. "They've made every world dependent on every other world, like links in a chain." The human fleet had spent the last 3 months executing Operation Avalanche, a carefully orchestrated campaign to disrupt the hegemony's economic stranglehold on the galaxy. But unlike traditional warfare, this wasn't about destruction. It was about liberation. On the mining world of Keras Prime, Generations of silicon-based beings had been forced to extract precious minerals for the hegemony, their crystalline bodies perfectly suited for the harsh conditions. They had never questioned their role. Until the day a human ship appeared in their sky. "We bring you knowledge." Commander West's voice echoed across their crystalline communication networks. "Knowledge of who you truly are and what you could become." The humans didn't just offer freedom. They provided evidence that the Carians were capable of so much more. Hidden in their genetic structure was the ability to grow and shape crystal technology far more advanced than anything the hegemony possessed. This knowledge had been deliberately suppressed for millennia. Dr. Chen, working from her quantum laboratory on Earth, had discovered similar patterns across dozens of species. The hegemony didn't just conquer these worlds. She reported to the United Earth Council. They deliberately engineered entire societies to prevent them from reaching their true potential. The revelation sparked a wave of uprisings across hegemony space. But unlike previous rebellions, these were supported by Earth's advanced technology and strategic guidance. The Ghost Fleet ensured that no hegemony forces could intervene, while human quantum computers helped coordinate resistance movements across thousands of light years. Ambassador Paddle found herself working around the clock, coordinating with newly liberated species. "Each world we free becomes a catalyst for others," she explained to General Rivera. "We're not just breaking chains, we're helping them forge new links, but this time based on mutual respect and cooperation." The hegemony's response was predictable. They tried to tighten their control, increasing military presence in key systems and imposing stricter regulations. But they failed to understand that their own infrastructure was now working against them. The quantum virus the humans had released months earlier had evolved, becoming more sophisticated with each passing day. It didn't just disable hegemony systems. It revealed the truth about how those systems had been used to oppress and control. On the trade hub world of Nexus EX, holographic displays meant to show hegemony propaganda suddenly began broadcasting proof of centuries of manipulation and lies. The local authorities couldn't shut them down. The quantum virus had given control to the very beings they had once oppressed. High Counselor Vexthor of the hegemony watched in horror as reports flooded in from across the galaxy. "They're not just defeating us militarily," he realized. "They're destroying the very foundation of our power. Every truth we buried, every lie we told. They're exposing it all." But humanity's most powerful weapon wasn't their technology. It was their approach to liberation. Unlike the hegemony, they didn't seek to control the species they freed. Instead, they provided knowledge, resources, and protection, allowing each civilization to determine its own path forward. The Artheans, a species of highly intelligent insectoids, used their newfound freedom to develop revolutionary biotechnology. The crystalline Carians began growing cities of living crystal that generated their own energy. The gaseous Nexians, freed from their containment facilities, revealed their ability to manipulate quantum fields naturally. Commander West stood on the observation deck of her ship, watching as another world celebrated its liberation. "We're not just breaking their chain of command," she said to her crew. "We're breaking the chains they placed on the potential of entire civilizations." The human fleet's campaign had evolved beyond military victory. Each liberated world became a testament to what was possible when species were allowed to develop freely. The hegemony had spent millennia building walls between civilizations. Humanity was building bridges. Dr. Chen's latest report to the Council captured the magnitude of what was happening. "We're witnessing the greatest flowering of diverse technologies and cultures in galactic history. Every species we free adds something unique to our understanding of the universe." The hegemony sought uniformity. "We're achieving harmony through diversity." As more worlds broke free, a new pattern began to emerge. The liberated species, rather than seeking revenge against their former oppressors, began working together to build something new. Trade routes once used to exploit became channels for sharing knowledge. Former prison worlds transformed into centers of learning and innovation. The galaxy was experiencing something it had never known under hegemony rule: genuine cooperation between truly free species. And at the heart of it all was humanity, not as conquerors or rulers, but as catalysts for change. The chains were breaking, link by link, and in their place, something far stronger was growing. A network of free worlds, each contributing its unique gifts to a new galactic civilization. The Titans fall. In the heart of hegemony space, behind shields thought impenetrable and defenses considered absolute, the High Council made their final desperate move. The Worldbreaker fleet, 50 massive vessels, each carrying enough firepower to shatter a planet's core, emerged from their secret docks for the first time in 3 centuries. High Admiral Kextol stood on the command deck of the Eternal Dominion, flagship of the Worldbreaker fleet, his crystalline form pulsing with grim determination. "Let them see true power," he commanded. "Let them remember why the hegemony has ruled for 12,000 years." But on Earth, in the quantum monitoring chamber beneath New Denver, Dr. Chen watched the massive fleet's emergence with an almost sad smile. "They still don't understand," she said softly to General Rivera. "They're fighting tomorrow's war with yesterday's weapons." The Worldbreaker fleet was impressive, a testament to the hegemony's mastery of brute force. Each ship was the size of a small moon, powered by artificial stars, armed with weapons that could tear reality itself. They represented everything the hegemony believed about power, that it came from size, from strength, from the ability to destroy. Commander West received the alert aboard Liberty's call. "The Worldbreakers have launched," she reported to the Earth Defense Council, implementing Protocol Omega. Protocol Omega wasn't a battle plan. It was the culmination of humanity's understanding of consciousness itself. While the hegemony had focused on building bigger weapons, humans had discovered something far more fundamental: the quantum nature of consciousness. The neural cascade system activated silently across human space. It wasn't a weapon in any traditional sense. Instead, it created a field of quantum entanglement that linked conscious minds across vast distances. The hegemony's crews found themselves experiencing something they had never imagined possible: true empathy. "You don't have to do this." Commander West's voice echoed not through communication systems, but directly in the minds of the Worldbreaker crews. "You can feel what we feel. You can understand what we understand." The effect was devastating in its gentleness. Hegemony crew members suddenly experienced the emotions, memories, and hopes of the very beings they had been sent to destroy. They felt the joy of liberated worlds, the wonder of species discovering their true potential, the power of genuine cooperation. Admiral Kextol fought against the cascade of emotions and memories flooding his consciousness. This is, he struggled to maintain his grip on the reality he had always known. But it was too late. The neural cascade didn't just share emotions, it revealed truth. The hegemony's crews saw their own history clearly for the first time, understood the true cost of their empire's dominance. They felt the pain of countless species trapped in artificial limitations, the weight of millennia of suppressed potential. Dr. Chen monitored the quantum readings as they spiked across space. "The cascade is stable," she reported. "Neural synchronization at 99.9%. They're experiencing everything. All of it. The Worldbreaker fleet, the most powerful assemblage of destructive force in known space, hung motionless among the stars. Their crews, from the highest admiral to the lowest technician, were caught in a moment of profound realization. The weapons they commanded seemed suddenly primitive compared to the complexity of consciousness they were experiencing. Ambassador Patel addressed the United Earth Council as the situation unfolded. "This is why we developed the neural cascade, not to destroy them, but to help them understand. You cannot hate what you truly understand." Across the Worldbreaker fleet, weapons powered down, shields deactivated. The mighty engines fell silent. One by one, the crews of the most powerful warships ever built made a choice, not under coercion, but through understanding. High Admiral Kextol, tears flowing from all 6 eyes, opened a channel to Earth. We "We never knew," he whispered. "All this time, we thought we were bringing order to chaos. We never realized we were suppressing the very thing that makes the universe beautiful, the infinite variety of consciousness itself." The Worldbreaker fleet's surrender wasn't marked by explosions or destruction, but by silence. The mighty vessels, designed to shatter worlds, instead became the first bridges between the old order and the new. Their crews, forever changed by the neural cascade, became some of the strongest advocates for galactic cooperation. Dr. Chen's report to the Council captured the historic moment. The neural cascade showed us something profound: that consciousness itself is the most powerful force in the universe. The hegemony built weapons to destroy worlds. We built a bridge between minds, and that made all the difference. The fall of the Worldbreaker fleet marked more than just a military victory. It represented the triumph of understanding over force, of consciousness over destruction. The mighty titans of the hegemony had fallen not to superior firepower, but to the simple power of shared truth. As the neural cascade faded, leaving behind its profound understanding, Commander West sent a final message to the now silent fleet. "Welcome to the first day of a new galaxy, one where we all rise together." The Titan's fall was complete, but unlike past empires, this one ended not with destruction, but with transformation. New dawn. The great hall of the former Hegemony Council chamber had been transformed. Where once stood imposing thrones meant to intimidate, now a circular table of living crystal pulsed with soft light. Representatives from 1,000 worlds gathered here not in fear, but in hope. Among them sat humans, their presence a reminder of how completely the galaxy had changed in less than a year. Ambassador Paddle stood to address the gathered species, her voice carrying across translation fields that operated on quantum principles the hegemony had once deemed impossible. "We gather not to build an empire, but to forge a covenant," she began. "Not to rule, but to grow together." The neural cascade had done more than stop a war. It had created the foundation for true understanding between species. The quantum entanglement that had linked minds during that crucial moment had left behind an indelible mark: the knowledge that consciousness itself transcended the boundaries of species and space. Dr. Chen, now leading the Interspecies Science Council, presented her findings to the Assembly. The neural cascade revealed something extraordinary. Each species perceives a different aspect of reality. Together, we can see the universe more completely than any one of us could alone. The former High Admiral Kextal, his crystalline form now adorned with symbols of peace rather than war, spoke next. The hegemony sought to impose order through uniformity. We were wrong. True order comes from harmony between differences, not their suppression. The Galactic Covenant, as it came to be known, was unlike any government the galaxy had seen. Built on principles discovered through the neural cascade, it recognized that every species had unique gifts to offer. The Arthean's biotechnology merged with Carrion crystal tech, while Nexian quantum manipulation enhanced human innovations. Commander West, watching from Liberty's Call, as ships from 100 worlds moved freely through once restricted space, smiled at how completely their victory had transformed the galaxy. "We didn't just change who was in power," she told her crew. "We changed what power means." The transformation wasn't without its challenges. Centuries of hegemony rule had left deep scars, and some worlds struggled to embrace their newfound freedom. But unlike the old regime, the Covenant faced these challenges with patience and understanding. "We remember what it means to be afraid," General Rivera told a gathering of former hegemony worlds. "Earth was once like you, worried that reaching for the stars would bring destruction. But look at what we've achieved by reaching out to each other instead." The quantum technology that had given humanity its edge became a foundation for sharing knowledge across species. The Ghost Fleet, once instruments of war, now carried scientists and explorers to the farthest reaches of known space. Each discovery was shared freely, each advancement building upon the unique perspectives of different species. Dr. Chen's quantum laboratories became centers of interspecies cooperation. Every species sees a different aspect of quantum reality. She explained to a group of eager students from across the galaxy. Together, we're uncovering secrets of the universe that none of us could have found alone. But perhaps the most profound change was in how species viewed themselves and each other. The neural cascade had left behind more than memories. It had created a deep understanding that diversity wasn't just beneficial, it was essential for the growth of consciousness itself. Ambassador Patel, addressing the first graduation of the Interspecies Academy, captured this new understanding. The hegemony's greatest crime wasn't their oppression. It was their attempt to suppress the magnificent variety of consciousness in our galaxy. Every species brings a unique way of perceiving and understanding reality. Together, we're not just stronger, we're more aware. The former Worldbreaker fleet, those mighty vessels of destruction, were transformed into the Covenant's first exploration corps. Their massive hulls, once filled with weapons, now carried teams of mixed-species researchers into unknown space. They sought not conquest, but understanding. High Admiral Kextal, now serving as a bridge between old and new, found purpose in helping former hegemony worlds adapt to the new reality. We thought power came from forcing others to see the universe as we did, he told a group of young officers. Now we understand that true power comes from seeing it through each other's eyes. A year after the neural cascade, Earth hosted the first Galactic Festival of Consciousness. Species from across known space gathered to share their unique perspectives, their arts, their sciences, their ways of understanding reality. The event became a symbol of everything the Covenant stood for: the celebration of diversity, the power of shared understanding, and the infinite possibilities that arose from true cooperation. Commander West, watching the festivities from orbit, sent a message to Dr. Chen. We didn't just change the galaxy, we helped it grow up. The question now isn't who rules, but how far we can go together. As the new dawn rose on this transformed galaxy, humanity found itself not at the top of a hierarchy, but at the heart of a network. They had succeeded not by becoming the most powerful species, but by helping all species recognize their own power. The new age wasn't marked by the dominance of any one species or ideology. Instead, it was characterized by an ever-expanding understanding of consciousness, reality, and the infinite possibilities that arose when different perspectives came together in harmony. Dr. Chen's final entry in the first year's record of the Covenant perhaps said it best. We reached for the stars expecting to find war or peace, dominance or submission. Instead, we found something far more precious: the endless variety of consciousness itself, and the joy of growing together in understanding. The dawn had broken on a new galaxy, and its light contained all the colors of consciousness itself.